Okie dokie, so as you can see, the chickens aren't out at the minute. They're actually away. They have been put back away, and they're not very happy with being put back away, but the reason being is because we have already lost a couple to Mr. Fox. And the reason why we've lost them is because I've got the poultry netting up, and that's going around the area, but the birds are still able to get through the holes in it. So they go walking through the hole, and then they get out to the outside area, and so it's not very good, and you end up losing them to the fox. Now I could electrify it, but even if I electrify it, the birds still walk through it, and it gets a bit annoying. So what we're going to do is we are going to build them an enclosure. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly run you around the route of the enclosure. So we're going to start off here at the edge. We're going to come along. We're going to go right the way down here. Straight line, so I've got to move all of this rubbish out the way. Just wiggle about. We'll come through here, through these trees, around this bit, all the way down the back here. Yeah, I'm going to cut out that bit because I'm not going to squeeze through there just at the minute. So we'll go all the way along the back, up to this corner here, because I don't want to get involved with what that is there. I just want to do this corner here, and then we'll straight line it. I've already cut down most of this so as we can come straight through. We can move this fence, that's not a major issue. We're going to go right along, and then we're going to turn right, and we're going to cut in so as we're meeting up with the end of the orchard all the way over there. So the area will be split into two. So where the fence is in the middle there, something like that will stay, and we'll keep the geese over that side, and we will keep the chickens over this side. So the chickens will have all of this woodland to explore. They'll have around all of these apple trees to be able to get in there and scratch and do what chickens do. So we will have all of that. It's roughly 65 metres, and it will be the first enclosure we're doing. We'll have a gate here. We'll have a gate over the other side that will lead out into the field. We'll have one on the chicken side, we'll have one on the geese side, and we will electrify up the whole lot, and we're going to barb wire the top of it. So we've got a lot to do. So let's crack on and do it, because I want to do it as quick as I can, because as soon as I've got it done, I can let the chickens back out again. Okay, so what we are up to now is the posts have all been put in. So these guys basically been whacked in with a post whacker. Just boing, boing, boing. Whack them in. Around here we got the problem that we've only got a couple of inches of topsoil, and then we're straight down to the sandstone. So we do our best basically just to get them in. Because they all go in at slightly different heights. I'm not sure if you can see down there, they're all at different heights. What I've then done is I've gone around and I've marked them all up. You can see I placed a mark on there. That mark is at 1.2 metres high from the ground, straight up, 1.2 metres. So then all I do is I will clip the fencing up there, and then I put 3, maybe 4 other clips in it. Now the clips I'm using are just standard galvanised clips and a hammer just to bang them in. You can use a staple gun to do them, and you can see, there we go, marked up again. So once I've done this and I've got this in all the way around, then we'll be able to make a start on the piece which is going along the bottom. But first of all, let's just crack on and get the rest of these done. Okay, due to various weather conditions, you might be able to hear there's a bit of wind about again today. I haven't been able to film as much as I would have liked of this. But what you can see is what we've done is we have basically put in this piece down here at the bottom. Now this piece is one piece and it goes from up there. If I bring the camera down so as you can see, there you go. So it goes from up there to down there. So it's roughly 30 centimeters or 12 inches up and 30 centimeters or 12 inches across. What this does is it means that if Mr. Rat, Mr. Fox comes along and wants to go through, it can't. And as it walks up and down here, all it's going to see is the small holes. Take you in. So you can see the small holes rather than the big holes which it would try to dig through of the main fence. It also means that if they're going to want to dig down and under, they're going to have to dig through it. Now this is quite a heavy gauge of fence, so it means that they're not going to get through. And you can see what I've done is we had some old wire laying about the place, and rather than using tent pegs, I just basically bent the old wire into shapes like that, and I've used that just to pin it down. Now because it's on grass here, and because we're not going to have animals that are going to graze it all the way down to mud out on this side, we're just able to pin it down as like a temporary thing, and then the grass will start to grow up through it. As you can see here, it's already started to grow up. I'll go over to another piece we done a week prior to this, and I'll be able to show you in just a second. And as the grass grows up, the grass is then going to mat into it, and it's then just going to make it really, really hard to actually pull this up if anything wants to try to get underneath it. We're going to make them have to dig a big tunnel basically. So let's just go and have a look at the other bit I've done a few weeks prior to this. So this piece here was done, it was only like a week prior, but it's August at the minute, so there is a bit of growth. No, it's actually September now, sorry. So there is a bit of growth that's coming through, and if I look down the line, you can see it's not easy to spot the bit that's laying on the floor because the grass has already started to grow through it. By the time spring comes around next year, this grass is going to be holding down all of this wire for us, so that shouldn't be any issues. Now with the electric fencing, if you are a regular watcher of our channel, you will know that I did some electric fencing previously at the last place, and with that I used wire, the nylon wire and the tape. Here I've used proper galvanized wire. One, because the cost of it wasn't very much, and two, because there was loads of it laying about on the farm, so I was able to use it. So what this now means is that if anything wants to come along, if like a fox is coming along and he wants to come in and he wants to go through, he's going to get hit by the bottom wire. If he wants to go under, that bottom wire is going to get him on his back. If he wants to try to come up a little bit, he's going to be hit by that one. So these are basically at 20 centimeters, 40 centimeters. And then if it wants to jump over, we've got one up here which is at 1.2 centimeters, which I believe is roughly 4 foot. And then just above that, we've got the barbed wire. Now what we are going to do is we are eventually going to add another little piece which just comes out a little bit, and that will have another line of barbed wire. So if anything is walking along the bottom and looks straight up, it's going to see the overhang of barbed wire which is coming to the outside. So all in all, I'm quite impressed with the fence. I quite like it. It's not 100% done yet, but we are getting there. What I'll do now is I'll just jump round and I will show you how we are powering up the electric fencing when we've got no power on the farm. Despite having a huge great pylon. Annoy Dad, handy hint, number 274. Should you be building a fence which is going to enclose an area and which you do not plan to immediately place any gates into, ensure at all times that anything that is within this area is outside of it before you put the fence up, because otherwise the harrow, which is just in the grass there, that metal thing that's growing in the grass there, isn't going to be able to get out to be able to harrow the field. And it's too blooming heavy to lift over the fence. So currently, as things stand, with no power down here, we've had to come up with a different way of how to power up the electric fencing. So what I've done is I've taken a standard car battery. It's going through a power inverter, which is this thing here. And it comes out the end to a mains 220 volt socket. And from there it goes around and into my best electric fence energizer. So that then gives us a nice powerful shock. So yeah, that is basically the fence that we are using at the minute to protect the chickens. So far so good. It seems to be keeping out Mr. Fox. Now it's done around by the chickens. So I'm going to go and hide from this nasty wind that's blowing through, and that I'm sure is playing havoc with my audio. And I will say thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, queries, comments, concerns, please leave them down below and I'll do my utmost to answer. I do try to answer most comments eventually. So yeah, thanks for watching, and until the next video, bye bye.